Have you ever walked into a gallery, stood before a challenging piece of modern art, maybe a stark sculpture or an abstract canvas full of aggressive lines, and wondered, who buys this? Who looks at that and decides, yes, that's what I want to live with, and I'll spend a significant sum to make it mine? Beyond the headlines and the dizzying auction prices lies a complex, deep personal, and sometimes baffling world of psychological motivation. We're not talking about simply decorating a wall. We're talking about an urge, a compulsion, a commitment. Welcome to The Collector's Mind, where we'll unpack the fascinating blend of passion, identity, and raw human desire that drives the acquisition of contemporary art. The spark, an unavoidable connection. At its heart, collecting begins with a feeling. It starts with an emotional pull so strong it feels almost magnetic. A collector doesn't just like a piece of art. They often feel they need it. It's that visceral moment when an artwork speaks a truth you didn't even realize you were waiting to hear. This connection goes beyond aesthetics. It's about the feeling of being intellectually stimulated, the joy of having your worldview or your comfort zone challenged, and the sheer delight of discovery. Collectors often describe it as falling in love. It's an almost irrational, passionate response to color, form, or a concept that makes you feel less alone in the universe. They want to possess the object that gave them that feeling, holding on to that moment of clarity or revelation. It's the desire to live with beauty, with ideas, with something that constantly asks questions of you, thereby enriching the texture of your daily life. The act of curation, identity made tangible. But let's be honest, we are social creatures, and the art we choose is never entirely private. The next psychological layer is about identity. We curate our lives, our clothes, our music, the books on our shelves. Art is the most profound and visible manifestation of that internal curation. Owning a significant piece of contemporary art is a powerful statement about who you are, what you value, and what you believe to be important in the cultural conversation. It signals taste, sophistication, and a deep, discerning engagement with the world beyond the purely transactional. In this context, art becomes an extension of the collector's personality. Curation. Owning a significant piece of contemporary art is a powerful statement about who you are, what you value, and what you believe to be important in the cultural conversation. It signals taste, sophistication, and a deep, discerning engagement with the world beyond the purely transactional. In this context, art becomes an extension of the collector's personality, a mirror reflecting their inner life. For those who feel they have achieved conventional success, art collecting provides a pathway to cultural capital, a recognition of intellectual depth that simple wealth can't buy. They are no longer just a buyer, they are a patron, a steward, a person of serious cultural weight. The collection becomes their autobiography, written not in words, but in objects and images. It's a way to stamp their unique perspective onto their physical environment and, by extension, onto the world. The thrill of the hunt and the dopamine hit. The process of acquisition itself is deeply psychological and surprisingly addictive. It involves the thrill of the hunt. Most passionate collectors aren't buying established masterpieces. They're searching for the next great artist, the next important voice. This act of discovery requires intuition, market research, and most importantly, the courage to back your own judgment when no one else is. When a collector successfully identifies and secures a piece from an emerging artist who later explodes into the global scene, the dopamine reward is enormous. It's not just the financial gain, it's the intellectual validation. They were right. Their eyes, their taste, their risk-taking paid off. This positive feedback loop is what fuels the collecting urge. The adrenaline of negotiation, the worry about missing out, the famous FOMO, and finally, the immense satisfaction when the piece is acquired. It all creates a cycle that is tremendously compelling. They chase that feeling of being an insider, of having the foresight that others missed. Before we dive deeper into the powerful drive for legacy and immortality, we want to hear from you. Have you ever felt that intense pull towards a piece of art? Comment below and tell us about the one artwork you couldn't walk away from. And if you're enjoying this exploration into the mind of the collector, take a second to subscribe. We have many more stories about art and psychology coming up. The pragmatic side, a search for value. We can't ignore the financial aspect entirely, but even this is psychological. Collecting is often described as the perfect marriage of passion and pragmatism. Art is a physical asset that can hold value in turbulent times, acting as a sophisticated, beautiful alternative to traditional investments. But the desire for value goes deeper than just money. Collectors are looking for meaningful value. They want to know that the artists they support are contributing something lasting to the dialogue of human history. When they invest in a young artist, they are investing in a future legacy, and their financial contribution is what gives that artist the time and space to create. In this sense, the money spent is a tangible exchange for the collector's own sense of purpose and contribution to culture. They are co-creators of history, even if they only hold the purse strings. It's a way for them to participate actively in the cultural future, rather than just observing it. Legacy and immortality. The collection lives on. Ultimately, the deepest psychological driver for many collectors is the pursuit of legacy. They understand that their own lives are finite, but the collection they assemble can endure. The act of building a cohesive, impactful collection is a striving for a form of immortality. It's the profound desire to ensure that their passion, the narrative they have painstakingly woven together through objects, will survive them. This ambition often culminates in the idea of donating to a museum, establishing a foundation, or creating a private museum. When a collector sees their name on a plaque recognizing their contribution to a major institution, it is the ultimate psychological payoff. It's the final definitive statement: I was here and this is what I believed in. The collector, at the end of the day, is trying to create order out of chaos. They are trying to find meaning and beauty in a world that often feels random. They are using art to define themselves, to connect with others, to seek validation, and to build something lasting. The collection is more than a sum of its parts. It's a testament to a life lived passionately, judged aesthetically, and committed to the enduring power of human creativity. The collector's mind is a fascinating ecosystem of emotion, intellect, and sheer human will. It's a journey into the depths of why we value what we value and why we crave ownership of beautiful and challenging things. It's a reflection of our deepest selves, painted across the canvas of modern art. What kind of statement would your collection make? What do you think is the strongest psychological factor at play when someone buys art? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If this conversation intrigued you, make sure you subscribe for more explorations into art, history, and psychology, and help us keep the conversation going. Share this video with someone who loves art or human behavior. Thanks for watching, and stay conscious.